What's up, everybody? I'm going to say something right out of the gate that I don't say lightly. This is the most important episode I've done so far. Not because it's the most entertaining, not because it's the deepest story, not because it's some crazy conspiracy theory or look at me moment, but because this is what this podcast is for. And because helping others has always been my mission. And I know I joke a lot, I talk a lot, I go on rants, I'm dramatic, I'm whatever. But I'm dead serious when I say this. Last Friday, I went on a bike ride, and in the span of like 35 minutes, life sat me down yet again and reminded me how small my problems are. And how fast things can change. And how you never really know what anyone else is carrying. It wasn't some planned big moment or event either. It was sort of just a day that felt like a gift that I won't soon forget. If you're listening right now, whether it be from Columbus, the Valley, wherever, I'm asking you to stay with me. Because this is what this podcast is for. Let's dive in. Go deep. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to As Deep as It Gets. It's your boy Dean. And if you're new here, welcome. Seriously. This isn't a podcast where we pretend everything is a-okay and fine. This is where we talk about what's really happening, what's really going on in our heads, in our hearts, and in our lives. We like to keep it honest, but today specifically, it's not really a normal episode that I would typically be doing. I'd typically be ranting about my life or something. Today is a mission episode. Today is one of the days where I'm like, God, I hear you. And folks, well, I need just a little help. I try not to ask too much from you guys, my listeners, and I appreciate you guys listening. It means so much to me, you have no idea. When I set out to make this, all I wanted to do was make a difference, no matter how big or small, and I wanted to do that because of my best friend Patrick. And this isn't you guys helping me. This is one of the moments where if I do this right, As Deep as It Gets can actually make a difference for somebody in a real way. Flashback to last Friday real quick. February 20th, sunny as can be, 55, felt like the world was glitching out. It shouldn't have been that nice. And I'm going to show you some pictures and some videos and, just sort of show you the vibe that I was feeling that day. And let me get them up here. But yeah, it was just such a great day. Just a couple little shorts. It's a little highway above my house. Into the ocean. So, like, if you guys know, I was listening to that song riding my bike. That was one of me, Colby, and Patch's favorite songs, along with many others. Ellis, everyone loved that song. But yeah, I was just vibing, listening to, I stopped by that bench and the water was real high, and it was just a gorgeous day, and I felt really good. And if you guys have me on Snapchat, probably already seen this, or I might have sent them to you individually, just saying what's up. But yeah. And then there was that bridge that they built, the new bridge that I think I'm going to be getting there. So I'm sort of just taking you there and showing you guys what this day was all about. And, ducks flying. I mean, basketball. I mean, you can imagine. And, you know, I'm by myself during all this. Bang. I'm by myself all this, and that was the rain we got the night before was miserable. But the shoes made it through, and it was just a really good day. Like I said, sorry for giving you guys all the visual aids, but I know one of you guys is hoping I'm gonna wreck right here. I know you are. I know you guys. And I almost do sort of wreck. Almost. Right there. And, it was a pretty night to end. And then I watched the sunset, and it was a really cool day, but a lot happened in between here and there. So it was a beautiful day. And I'm not going to lie, I've been grinding pretty hard lately, and that's sort of in all facets of my life, in the gym, with my diet, with my faith, with my work, everything, with this podcast. That's the one place I feel like I'm lacking. Now, it's not perfect. Nothing's perfect, but I'm optimistic about where I'm headed. And what's funny is I don't think I've ever felt this invested in my faith. It's not just, I believe, guys, anymore. I've been witnessing to others when I can and sort of just trusting in God's plan fully, so as long that I'm making all the right steps to try to be the man that He wants me to be. And I'm watching and listening for God more. And I can truly speak to you guys as if some days I feel like I'm being guided to do the right things. And it's not hard. It's just seeing good where good can be done and trying to do that good. And with these bike rides, man, I don't even know how to explain it without sounding like a true blue hippie or something, but they've sort of become my outlet to connect with nature and also connect with Pat. And whether it be sitting by a bench or, sitting by a bench by the water or climbing up a tree, I've had moments on these bike rides where I swear it feels like Patrick is right there with me. And I don't mean that in a spooky way at all. I mean it in a very calm way. In a you're not alone, Dino way. And that could just be because I carry him with me. So I'm riding that day and I'm, try to get through this. I'm smiling, I'm taking it all in, moving the body. And I'm thinking, damn, I'm having such a good day. And I get to this new bridge. And this is where the day sort of starts talking to me. They opened up this new bridge on the trail, so you don't have to go the long way around anymore. And that may sound small, but if you've ridden the Olentangy Trail, you know that it's a big deal because you're able to avoid a lot of car traffic that way. So I'm up on this bridge, and there's this guy there, and we ended up having this 2-minute conversation that wasn't very deep at all, but it was also weirdly deep because he approached me and walked up and tapped me on my shoulder, and we were talking about the new bridge, and he's like, "Hey, son, have you been here before? You got a big smile on your face." And I'm like, "Well, no, I haven't actually got to cross the bridge yet." And, he asked me the last time I'd been there, and we were joking about the weather and getting the clubs out, and he patted me on the back and said, he said, "It was great talking to you." And I could tell he might have noticed something in me. I just showed you guys the whole day I had up to that point with, the bridge and the sun, and maybe it was he saw me smiling. Maybe he just saw the joy in me getting to cross the new bridge. He certainly wasn't a troll under the bridge, But have you ever had one of those moments where you just realize being in a good mood is sort of contagious? Your smile made someone speak to you, because that's sort of what happened. And I don't know why, but right after I talked to that guy, that's the first time I felt Pat there that day. And, I feel him from time to time, but man, he felt like when I was like, I remember thinking, all right, after I talked to that guy and he like touched me on my shoulder twice and he approached me because I was smiling, I was like, all right, something's going on today. And I wasn't anxious. I wasn't scared. It gave me a very calming feeling. And like God was sort of lining something up for me. And I just didn't know what it was yet. So, as a quick aside, and real quick, because I know we might have some new listeners today, maybe, I got to tell you who Patrick was. Patrick was my best friend, my brother, the kind of friend where I can't really explain him to you if you don't know him. He was a presence. He was a vibe. He was seriously like a whole aura. He was the type of dude that made life feel bigger just by being in it. And losing Pat 8 months ago today, as I record this, well, that was the biggest catalyst for me starting this podcast for real. Because it made time very real and finite to me. It made me stop saying one day, because there might not be a one day tomorrow. It made me realize that one day is just a lie that we all tell ourselves so we can stay comfortable. So when I tell you guys I felt him there, I'm not saying it just to be like, I'm not just saying that. I'm saying it because I carry Patrick in everyday conversations. He's a huge part of who I am and why I am the way I am now. And I still hear him every day in my head saying something like, all right, Dean, then do something with it. Take the chance, Gino. Make the podcast. Help the person. He always believed in me. And funny story from flag football, he made his dad Prune give me the ball one time so I could finally score my first touchdown in flag football. Duh Bears. He'll always be my best friend. So after the ride, I'm up on High Street and I need air in my tires. But the bike shop doesn't open for 30 minutes or so. So I was like, let me just grab an iced coffee and shout out to Dough Mama. There's your free ad. I appreciate your hospitality and let me charge my phone for free. But I didn't go in there with a plan. I literally stepped in there to kill some time before getting some air in my tires. It's like 10:30 a.m., sunny morning, light breeze, and I needed a quick pick-me-up. So I got my journal out and I was going to plug in my phone. I'm in line. I get my iced coffee from the barista and I turn around clumsy as hell and I almost spill my coffee on a girl. Well, dang, Dean, ain't that it? And instantly I'm like, oh my God, I'm sorry, and she's cute, she's smiling, but you can tell immediately she's dealing with something worse than a dead cell phone. And what am I doing with my life? Like me. She was clearly dealing with chemotherapy treatment, and you know what that means. She was fighting cancer. So I smile, and despite almost running her over, I say, excuse me, and I go find a seat. And I sit down, and I already have my journal out because that's sort of been my thing lately. I've been trying to write more and stay present and catch the meaning of stuff so I can make these podcasts accordingly. And before she even, sits down, she's still asking for the salt and pepper at the register. I can hear I have my journal out and I'm sitting and I write down, I'm sitting here in a coffee shop and after almost trampling over a girl, iced coffee in hand, I can't help but think life could always be worse. That's what I wrote down. It was a nice weather. I was on a bike ride. I was thinking about everything that she was dealing with and how I'm sitting here thinking about trivial problems that don't even matter. And then, of course, here comes the girl I just almost trampled with her salt and pepper, and she sits down right next to me, across from her friend. And the second she sat down, I immediately knew I was exactly where I was supposed to be. It was an instant feeling. It wasn't even a thought. It was a sort of knowing. And she's sitting there, even though I almost trampled her, she smiled and laughed. She's sitting there with a friend, eating breakfast, smiling, talking, joking. And at some point, I hear her say something about not even being sure she's supposed to be having a slice of bacon because of her treatment. But fuck it. Her words. And I'm sitting there like, yo, this is insane. Because I'm over here stressing about these silly, trivial life things. And sitting next to me, who I almost walked over getting my silly iced coffee, I'm sitting next to someone fighting something real. And she's smiling, rebelling against big cholesterol. Happy, eating breakfast with her friend. Choosing life. Not a single bit of why me. And her voice and her demeanor, quite the opposite. She was given, I'm built for this shit vibes. So I go back to my journal and I write again. In this moment, I'm sitting next to a girl who, by the looks of it, has it way worse than I do. And guess what? She's smiling, eating breakfast, talking about she isn't even sure if she's supposed to be having this slice of bacon. And suddenly, I feel I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. And then I proceed to keep writing while I'm sort of eavesdropping in on their conversation. Not trying to, but I can't really help it. And I keep writing how I love this nice weather. I love these bike rides, moving the body. It all makes me feel so much better. Sitting here in this cafe next to this girl who has this kick-ass attitude about life, despite currently battling cancer. God, I hope she wins. I cannot imagine really being mad or upset about anything anymore. How small are my problems, really? It's like, suddenly, I'm at peace. Then I wrote, I haven't, ... That's where I stopped. Because what I was about to write was, I haven't butted into their conversation just yet. But then I heard her say something about a teacher she was close with just randomly dying. And when she said randomly dying, or that her teacher just randomly died, I realized I knew that feeling. So I butt in, awkward and as clumsy as ever, just as you would picture me doing it. You guys all know me. And I say something really freaking stupid like, yeah, I know what you mean. It sucks when people just randomly die. and instantly I'm like, Dean, did you just say that out loud to a girl who is currently battling cancer? And I felt like such a freaking idiot. And then I had to like sort of be like, no. Like I was just trying to say, I understand how life can change in an instant. And I sort of gave her the gist about Patrick as she was talking about her teacher just, randomly. I sort of gave her, sort of my outlook on life since then. Not that she asked for it, but just how things can come up suddenly that really shake your world, and how I wished her the best and that I'd be praying for her, and how I wanted to help her out in any way that I could, because I felt like I was supposed to be where I was at. So I gave her the gist on Pat and what had happened, and I told her I couldn't imagine what she's going through, but I sort of got what she was saying about how fast everything can flip, and that I wanted to help in whatever way I could. So I got her GoFundMe, and by the end of the conversation, we had each maybe shed a tear, and I'm not gonna lie, I felt sort of bad because I felt like I sort of hijacked her and her friend's breakfast, and I didn't want to be like stealing her peace, talking about taking away from her breakfast with her friend. And I was like, am I bringing negative emotions? So I just had to get out of there and go get my tires pumped up. But the interaction was wholesome, and it was human, and there was a connection, and it felt very real. And those are the things that I chase in life, is these organic, real connections with people That's what I chase when I have people on here with the podcast. That's what I want to learn about people. That's what I strive to do with this thing, is learn more about the people around me and help others in whatever way I can. But I walked out of that Dough Mama, out of that little cafe, knowing that it wasn't a little random coffee shop moment. That I was in the right place and that this is what the podcast was for. So the woman I met, her name is Lauren. And before I say anything else, I want to be completely respectful to her. I have her number. She's my friend now. I sent her the podcast. I had her send me the GoFundMe so I could sort of spread it around to some of the people that I knew. I'm just here to do the part that I can and try to get people to show up for her. Shadyside in the Ohio Valley has always been a place where people come about to help one another. The Tiger 4-Man, Pat's Golf Scramble, the Alex Quinn Memorial Kickball Tournament. And I figured maybe I could rally a couple of troops to show us city folk, or show the city folk out here how a little dose of our small town and how we band together to help, even if in small ways. And even if, I garner her a little bit support, at least I'll have tried. We do what we can, as our junior high track slogan would be. We do what we can. So I'm going to pull up the GoFundMe real quick and let you guys take a look at it, give you a little just preview of it. It's going to be linked in the comments and whatnot. Just a little gist. If you know Lauren, to know Lauren is to love Lauren. She is the most selfless and caring person I know. She's the type of friend to feed you French fries while you drive just to make sure you're fed. She has an outrageous sense of humor, is creative, loves the outdoors and working with kids. But most importantly, she's a friend to everyone she's ever met, and me included. So, at only 26 years old, Lauren received the devastating news that she had been diagnosed with triple-negative invasive ductal carcinoma, an aggressive form of breast cancer. So, what I'm sort of calling you guys to do, and help me out in whatever way you can, is just, the fundraiser will be titled and linked in these episodes. Help support Lauren on her breast cancer journey if you can. And, this is a real person in my city, in my community, just right up the street, who's fighting a real fight. And, I never really ask you guys for anything. And I'm not asking for much. I don't, couple bucks, $5, whatever that coffee you were going to buy. But helping others has always been my mission. Every value my grandmother has ever instilled upon me is built around helping others. Before this podcast, before I decided to speak up again, I've been in places where I've needed help. I've had seasons where I've felt alone. And I've suffered and watched others suffer quietly. And I hate that. I hate when somebody is carrying something heavy and they have to, carry it alone. But I do believe this, guys. God doesn't give you a voice for you not to use it. So even a small amount of effort can make a big difference in someone's life. So yeah, that's sort of my call to action for you guys today. And if I'm being honest, I think this is exactly what Patrick would have wanted me to use the podcast for. Because Patrick was not the type of dude to sit back and ever watch somebody struggle. He was the type of dude where if you said you needed help, he'd be like, all right, what do we do? Let's make a plan. Action was sort of his thing. And since he's been gone, I've sort of had to learn how to carry his spirit. And boy, is it a big spirit to carry. I actually can't even do it alone. It's going to take a team of guys to do that. But he was a man who turned pain into purpose. Grief, hardships, and struggles can do two things to a man. They can break a man, or they can build a man. And I've been trying my best to let it build me. So when I keep repeating myself that this is what the podcast is for, What I mean is, if Patrick's watching me, this is me trying to live and do it right. So here's the ask. I'm going to make it real simple. If you can donate, donate. If you can't donate, share it. If you don't have any money or reach, pray. And I don't say pray like a cop-out. I mean it. Pray for Lauren. Please. I've been feeling God real heavy lately, guys. And I've been feeling a lot of alignment in my life. I believe prayer matters. And I'm putting the link in the description, the pinned comment. And like I said, even if it's $5, this is one of those moments where you can literally turn your phone into helping someone. And if you donate or share, just know it means the world to me. I know our community shows up in big ways when prompted. So to the word of the day, timing. Proverbs 16:9. A man's heart plans his way, but the Lord directs his steps. I didn't plan for this moment in the coffee shop to happen, guys. I just sort of walked into it. I went in for coffee and walked out with a new friend, and God sent me on my bike ride with a reminder that don't stress the little things in life. It's too short. And then Proverbs 16:33. The lot is cast into the lap, but its every decision is from the Lord. Even what looks random at times has a hand on it, guys. It has God's hands in it. That little right place, right time feeling, that's not nothing. I'm going to be honest with you guys. There's been something else on my head lately, and I've been noticing, I keep saying like God's plan, but I've been noticing these weird patterns and coincidences and seeing odd number sequences, and I'm like, okay, what is that? And I'm not going to sit here and act like I know exactly what any of it means. I'm not a prophet. I'm not claiming prophecy. I'm just saying I keep getting nudged, okay? I keep getting these little taps, and Friday felt like a little tap. Whether it was the perfect weather, the new bridge being open up, the random dude patting me on the shoulder twice, seeing me smile, the way Patrick's presence hit me right after all that, and then go into the coffee shop and see that girl. A cafe I never even planned to be at 10:30 a.m. I hadn't even heard of it. Life sat me right next to Lauren. So whether you call it God, whether you call it alignment, whether you call it coincidence, coincidence, I don't care what you label it. Just know this is your boy Dean here telling you I felt called to make this podcast, and I'm not ignoring the call. And as we flow into spring, guys, I'm feeling more in touch with my faith and everything than I ever have. My body, my health, my mind, my faith, this podcast. It's funny because it seems like the more I lean into God, the more it feels like things are lining up for me. And not because life has felt like super easy or a cakewalk lately, but because I feel like I'm walking with purpose instead of just wandering around. And this is what the podcast is for. Helping others has always been my mission, and if you've ever supported me, if you've ever said you believe in me or what I'm doing, what I'm building, what I'm trying to build, then this is your moment to prove it to me. Click the link, donate to Lauren if you can, share it if you can, pray either way. Lauren, we're pulling for you. I'm really happy to have made a new friend. I know I'll be praying for you, and I know this is going to get a lot of others to pray for you too. Pat, I hope this is the kind of thing that makes you proud. I could feel you in the coffee shop that day, talking to me as I was journaling, and I love you, brother. I'll miss you forever. It's only been 8 months, but it feels like a lifetime. I love you all more than anything. We will see you Wednesday.